all things Arkansas State University. Live from the ASU-TV studios in the School of Media and Journalism, this is A-State Connections.
Hello everyone, welcome to A-State Connections on ASU-TV. I'm McKee, a sports media student here at Arkansas State University. The School of Media and Journalism offers a new Bachelor of Science in Mass Communications degree which students can major in. Telling us more about this is the Interim Director of the School of Media and Journalism at Arkansas State, Dr. Lillie Fears. Dr. Fears, welcome to A-State Connections.
Thank you so much for having me.
Oh, thank you for being here.
Thank you.
So, topic of conversation is this new degree. What inspired this redesign of the mass communication degree, and how does it reflect the evolving media industry?
Okay, I'll take the first part of that question. It was inspired, as you say, because a couple of years ago, the multimedia journalism program was ended because of some enrollment issues. And since it was ended, we had a new chancellor, Dr. Shields. He just talked to us and challenged us and charged us with coming up with a new program that would allow us to bring journalism back on the scene, but at the same time keep creative media doing well as also. So over these past 2 years, that's what we've been doing. We've been working with alumni, talking to them about what they think should be in an innovative program. That was one of the words he used. He said, bring me something innovative, and I forget that other word he used. And so that's what we've been doing for the past 2 years, and working with alumni, talking to them, and researching other programs that are successful. And I'm happy to report that as you said, as of July 25th, this past summer, we were approved for this new degree program. And you asked about how it's going to help meet the needs of the evolving industry.
Yes, ma'am.
This new program will require students to take courses that help them to develop a tool set in digital tools, audio, visual, law and ethics, layout and design, and all that's needed to compete and do well in the industry today. No longer can you be a newspaper journalist and just know print and layout design like I had to do, and a little photography. You now, to be a successful newspaper reporter, you have to have digital tools, audio and visual, all of it helps. And the same for in the broadcasting industry. There are jobs that you can do in a TV station that require the same tools that we would use in a traditional newspaper. And of course, people who work in creative and sports, they also have those tools as well. So with this new program, we hope any graduate that finishes our degree program will be able to work across platforms regardless to what opportunities they may have to get a job.
You put that so perfectly.
Thank you.
I'm very excited for this new degree program.
Thank you.
I think it's going to reach a lot of people, like you said.
That is our goal.
Those fundamentals, they can transfer anywhere. I like to call them umbrella terms.
Thank you. Okay.
They'll cover a lot. What does this new program mean for the current creative media production students?
Well, first of all, the current creative media students have a choice. They can join the new program, or they can switch over, or they can join the new program, or they can stay in the program that they're in. But I hope they will be assured that that they will not be interrupted in whatever decision they decide to do. If they stay where they are, they will have the courses that they need. If they switch over, they will definitely have the courses that they need. So nothing is going to change. There's no worry about what will happen to you if you don't switch to the new program. But we hope a lot of them will switch over as well, particularly if they are going to be around for 2 or 3 more years.
I think that would be, I like that they have the option to either finish it out or, like you said, this new innovative program, they have that option as well. We touched on the news and the history a little bit. How does the news emphasis build on the legacy of A-State's multimedia journalism program?
You mean the new news emphasis?
Yes, ma'am.
Well, as I said, anyone who's going to be in news now, our goal is going to be to have one newsroom, and we're going to converge everyone. For example, During the summers in my past life, over the years, I've gone and worked in newsrooms. And I'll give you an example of the most recent newsroom I worked in. It was at Channel 5 in Memphis. And when they realized, I worked on the digital content desk, or they now call it the digital desk. If you go to their website, you'll see that. And when they realized that I had traditional newspaper skills and I knew newspaper style, they were so happy and gave me just more and more work, because what you do at Channel 5 is when the reporters come in, you probably know this, they do a script for television and it has all of this formatting in it, greater than signs, all these symbols and things. But before that goes on the digital desk website, someone has to reformat it and make it look a lot like a newspaper story. So that's where digital content producers come in. So that was my job, and that's what I hope we will be able to do here with our news operations. If you report a story for the traditional newspaper, our goal is that that student can come in and also write a script for the news anchors and say, here's a copy of my story for TV, here's a copy for radio. So that's one thing we want to do in terms of the news emphasis, build on it and make sure people working in the Herald will know how to also take that same story and reformat it and bring it down here for the folks getting ready for the news set. So that's one thing. And of course, we want to return to our legacy of being #1 in the state and build back our brand of being the place to go to for journalism, creative, and sports.
That's so awesome. I love your story about outside, talking about the news station and your work outside of there. I was once told that majority of your learning is outside of the classroom.
Right.
And I think that really sets the tone with this kind of work. So are there any partnerships with any like athletic departments or media outlets that can enhance student learning?
Yeah, I'm glad you asked that question, because with our sports emphasis, by the way, the new program, students take a core set of classes where they learn a little bit about everything: writing, producing, video, audio, law, and ethics. After that, you choose an emphasis. So the students who choose the sports emphasis, they go into sports, of course, and that's where they get to work eventually with ESPN. We have a partnership with ESPN and A-State Athletics. So through those partnerships, we probably produce shows for all of the ESPN formats, and which is about, if my last count was about 78 shows just for ESPN.
Wow.
And they use our students to help produce those shows. And one good thing that's unique about the sports emphasis, as you probably know, is that when you come to Arkansas State, you get to do hands-on experiences the day you get here. We were just at a career fair not too long ago, and a student told us that at another school, they told him that by the time he reached his junior year, he could probably get some hands-on. And when we told him that, no, when you come to Arkansas State, if you want to work the day you get here, we will make it happen. And I believe he chose us on the spot when we told him that at this career fair.
Mm-hmm. That's, like I said, that learning, and like you mentioned, second year student, I started working my first semester here, and I think it really set me up for nothing but success.
I'm so happy to hear
classes.
that, yes.
As a sports media student, I can't not ask this question. What distinguishes this new sports emphasis versus the traditional sports journalism programs that you see?
Well, I just mentioned some of it. We have people on staff who've worked in sports. One of our instructors, lead instructors in sports, is Mr. Dustin Sullivan. He's worked at ESPN. He's worked at ASU Athletics. So he has that industry experience. And then we work with the people over there, and that puts our students out front. And they have other partnerships that they could probably describe a lot better than I can, because I'm coming on board and learning about those operations. I've been over there to visit, and I've met the people in A-State Athletics, and I go to the games too, so I see the action that we have, and we're constantly building those partnerships. So I'm pleased about that, and we hope to do more.
Yeah, I really like the partnerships and the networking that we have here on campus. kind of piggybacking off of that, for our creative media students, what kind of creative media projects will they do to enhance that learning on like project hands-on?
I'm glad you asked that question too. Now, I had to bring a cheat sheet for that one because creative media, just like sports media, they're doing so much. I'm so proud of them. And now that I'm kind of at the lead here, I can't say enough about it. First of all, let's give a shout out to A-State Connections. This is one of the creative projects, okay? I'm here on the show. They also do audio-video interviews, and then we have Red Wolf Radio. So we have several outlets that our students can use to air or share their creative content. Most recently, I wanted to just talk about some of the things that they do in Mr. Perkins' classes with the documentaries, short-form documentaries and long-form documentaries. We have a student whose documentary was chosen for the Fort Smith, you know I brought that too, for the Fort Smith International Film Festival, where there were more than 600 entries, and she was selected. And from what Mr. Perkins has told me, he's still putting her work into shows. And we're very proud of her because this is an international film festival, and they only selected 26 entries, and one of our students was selected. And so it was also selected for the Fayetteville Film Festival. So, and you know what? They're doing so well with this, the documentary and the Video 3 classes in creative. I always look forward to going to the showcase every spring, and I hope we will make that even bigger than it is. So those are just some of the things that we're doing. Like I said, I have a long list here, but I know this show is for the air. You have to be concise and make it quick. So.
Thank you for telling us. Yes, the Spring Film Festival was awesome to go to. I loved it. Kinsey did an amazing job. Interim Director at the School of Media and Journalism at Arkansas State University, Dr. Lillie Fears, joins us on A-State Connections. Don't go anywhere. We'll be right back with more A-State Connections.
Students should watch ASU-TV just to see the creativity that a college student can get. The creativity that some of these students have is truly amazing. Getting that experience can really just take you further, and I feel like our program does that for a lot of students.
I think one of the things I learned at Arkansas State was life is 10% of what happens to you, 90% of how you respond to it, and that's just something that I live by.
A-State is home, and they're going to treat you like you're a part of the family.
Red Wolf Radio is a student-led organization at Arkansas State University wanting to hear your takes on pop culture, music, the news, and college life. Just about anything you can think of. Located in the Education and Communications building on campus, we are always looking for more volunteers. So if you're an Arkansas State University student, no matter the major, and this is something that interests you, shoot us an email at redwolfradio@astate.edu. That's redwolfradio@astate.edu. Let them hear you howl.
Live from the ASU-TV studios in the School of Media and Journalism, this is A-State Connections.
Welcome back to A-State Connections on ASU-TV. Once again, I'm Julia McKee. We are continuing our conversation with the Interim Director of the School of Media and Journalism at Arkansas State University, Dr. Lillie Fears. Dr. Fears, again, thank you so much for joining us on set today.
Thank you. I'm enjoying it.
So, piggybacking off of our conversation earlier, how does this new curriculum integrate the media law and ethics in those all emphasis areas?
That is, not only is it an important question, but it's just media law and ethics is vital to any communications program. And you mentioned, you said media law, ethics, and what was the other one?
The equity.
Okay. Well, the good thing about this program, and we've always done this, even with the previous program, we began introducing media law and ethics early in the curriculum in our mass communications course because we want to make the point early on that law, ethics, and equity are important in the industry. So it gets introduced in that first course if you take that, and then in future courses, such as in courses in sports, we may, once you get the basics, we'll have, the sports people will be talking about issues about ethics and law that they deal with, excuse me, such as intellectual property and the use of athletes' images, name, image, and likeness. What is it, NIL? We got all of those issues that are coming up. So you get the introduction, and then in every class we keep building up on it before we take the actual have you take the actual communications law and ethics course. The same thing happens in journalism courses also, where we reinforce things like the First Amendment protections, libel and defamation, source protection, things that you might not think about. So, and of course, a new thing, and I taught a class last semester in AI and the mass media. We started learning about ethical issues and using images with AI, and that's an entirely different segment of communications law and ethics that we're slowly beginning to learn about. For example, a lot of people like to use certain software, for creating flyers and things like that. But are they aware that programs such as, I would say, Canva might not have the protections built in that a program such as Adobe would have built in? Because you can almost usually expect that if you use images in an Adobe program that they have been cleared, the copyrights have been cleared, but would anybody know that? And the last thing you want to do when you're working in the industry or for yourself is to put a lot of money into a project and then get to the end and realize that the images you're using haven't been cleared by copyright, and you're getting sued because somebody's saying, hey, that's my work, but you thought, well, I got it out of this program I had. It could be any program. So, and that's why it's so important for us to introduce the basics of law, ethics, and even in terms of equity. That's when we talk about being fair on the air, fair in representation. So all of that is important, and as I said, we try to start in the first class. Usually it's the last chapter in the book, but in my class, in my mass comm class, I make sure we get the basics and they know the 4 reasons that someone can, the 4 tests you must pass to have a libel case, just the basics. And we talk about ethical cases, and then at least I plant that seed. Then when they go on to other classes, instructors begin talking about law and ethical issues that apply to those in sports, in creative. And then by the time they take the required course in law and ethics, they have the foundation, they're ready to go to the next level and learn about issues across the board that we wouldn't cover in the first class. So it's very important, and we make sure we weave that through all of the curriculum so that we can produce responsible media people.
I like that you mentioned how in-depth it goes. It may start small, but it eventually continues. Because like you said, when I first came here, I didn't really know how important that was. It was just something that I thought was just there, and you didn't really hit on it that much. And so I really enjoy that, how it's really integrated, and from the start all the way to the end, because it is that important.
It is, yes it is.
In what ways are the students encouraged to critically engage in the media history and media representation?
Media history now. I teach the class in media history. I'm shouting out my class, okay? I think we encourage people to engage in media history in ways that we really don't realize it. For example, today is September 25th, 24th, 2025. and you're hearing stories about people are saying, oh, they're trying to suppress speech. This person, this elected official is trying to do that. But if you know media history, you'll know how important your First Amendment rights and protections are. In my history class and my other classes, I talk about the fact that when the Founding Fathers were putting together the Bill of Rights and the Constitution, they argued and they could not agree on the original First and Second Amendment. So they threw those out, and what became first is what we now know as the First Amendment. So what does that tell us? That they agreed on it because they didn't throw it out. So if they agreed on it back then, and if you know anything about media history and what led up to this, I mean, people would shoot each other and go out on, I mean, they would libel each other and go out on a battlefield and have a duel, and so this person might get killed. This is just how serious media First Amendment rights and protections are. So that's one way I encourage people, well, let me just say this. That's why it's important to know media history, and that way when you come to September 2025, you'll understand why people are on social media arguing back and forth, and folks are trying to say, you don't want to lose your speech rights, you don't want to be suppressed, you don't want to be censored. Do y'all really know what that means? If you know media history and you are engaged in history, you'll know why that's so important. If the Founding Fathers didn't throw it out with the other two, then that sends a message right there. They could have thrown out what we now know as the First Amendment, but they stopped there. They threw out the other two. I don't know if they got to fighting or whatever, because if you take my media history class, we're gonna talk about some interesting stories about people and newspapers and what happened in media history, as you mentioned.
Another thing that you talk about that I think is so important is that, because again, I didn't really think about it, but I was once told that to know where you're going, you have to know where you've been.
Awesome, yes.
And I think in this scenario, that really paints the picture perfectly on the history, where we're at, and then where we think we're going.
Yeah, and I always encourage students to, even if you don't agree with somebody, just hear what they have to say, and let's keep the free marketplace of ideas going. Don't just shut down and be one-sided in your thinking. At least know where people stand, because even if you don't agree, you still might learn something.
Yes, ma'am. Like I kind of mentioned, past, present, future, with this new program that we're so excited about, if you had to gauge where the program and where the School of Media Journalism would be in the next coming years, what would that look like?
Well, as I mentioned earlier, I believe we will get our reputation back of being number one, and it'll be understood in the state that this is the place to go to be trained and be ready to work in any news environment, a creative environment, with sports, and to get the training that you need. So I really believe that's where we're going to be in the very near future, once we start making our way, and then once we start building our reputation across social media platforms. So, and our enrollment gets up, so I think we're going to grow, and we're going to need more instructors on an administrative side, because it's interesting that we're working on the spring schedule, and I'm seeing numbers that have me just really excited that things are already moving forward. So, and we just want to make sure we take care of y'all. So when I go back upstairs, that's what I'll be, I've got a phone call waiting on me to get back to working on the schedule to make sure we have the people in place that are going to help continue to make this program move forward like it should.
So we kind of hit on this a second ago about our partners and the different programs that we have here at the School of Media and Journalism. If someone is watching right now and they're like, I want to get involved, what would you say to them, and what would be those steps that you would tell them?
The first thing I would do is, if nothing else, come and talk to me, and I can put you in touch with the instructor or the person who is in charge of the media outlet or the type of media that you want to get involved with. But if you can't find me and you know of a student who's doing something that you want to do, your student friend can probably help you find that person. But if nothing else, always come to the office. We're located upstairs on the second floor in ComEd. We're supposed to say EdCom, 225B. and we will help you find your way around and get in contact with the person that you need to talk to, and get you some hands-on experience and get you involved. So there's no need to wait. And also, I want to say something about the student-run radio station. Mr. Perkins, I know he's somewhere in the building. He would be the person that you talk to about getting hands-on experience working with Red Wolf Radio, the award-winning Red Wolf Radio. So, and we can do the same probably with the Herald newspaper.
Yes, ma'am. Like we've said before, there's so many opportunities here between our media and athletic partners and then our programs here at the school. With this new program, I just see it building. I see the new instructors coming, the new classes being added, the new shows being added to our TV station, and I think that there's so much room for growth, and I'm really excited to see where this goes.
Thank you.
So to wrap this all up, some of the students are confused and unsure about this new change. To kind of tie it all together, what would you say to the current students, the incoming students?
Okay, that's a very good question, because today we're getting ready to start advising for the spring. And I would say, first of all, don't worry about anything. If you decide to stay with the current media program, you're going to be okay. If you want to switch over, this is a good time to set up an appointment with the advisor, Mr. Brandon Tabor, who's just coming on board, and go over your schedule and let him look at what would be to your advantage, to stay with the current program or to switch over. But if nothing else, students, don't worry about it. You will be okay no matter what you do. Don't listen to the hearsay. Dr. Fears said it.
Dr. Fears put it perfectly. You heard it right here, folks. That will do it for this edition of A-State Connections. To keep up with A-State athletics from my point of view, make sure to follow @the McKee Media on Instagram. I want to thank my guest once again, Dr. Fears, for joining me today. I also want to say a huge thank you to the instructor of creative media production, Galen Perkins, and his amazing students in Video Production 1, who are behind the scenes running the show today. I could not host the show without them. Special thanks to our producer today, Mr. Jonathan Reeves, and to our broadcast engineer, Timmy Arquette, Aiden Barber, and graduate assistant Reese Barnett for their help on the show. Until next time, as always, go Red Wolves.